Hi, this is Too Cute for Cancer. Welcome back to my channel, or if you haven't been here before, welcome. My name is Jody, and I am living with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. And I have been living and struggling with cancer for 20 years. Last week, I started a series about how I live with cancer for the last 20 years. And it was kind of like a tips and tricks and just how I've been doing it. So this week, we are going to talk about how I and others have to live with life, like just regular life things, and cancer. And you put them together, and sometimes it can be really difficult. This week we had, and I say we, I mean my family, our friends, our church family, our cancer community, we lost two of our members, our friends, by suicide. It was a hard week. And even though it was a hard week, cancer was still there. I still had to get my prescriptions, filled. I still had to do my treatment. I still had to argue with the pharmacy. Tonight, my husband spent 3 hours at the pharmacy to get my pain meds because the doctor called them in, but the pharmacist couldn't find it, and there was just this big whole thing. It's just always a struggle. So anyway, 3 hours out of his evening. At the same time, he was trying to work, which he had a deal that was starting to go south, and he needed to tend to that. And I was at home, and I had to work. So it just, life goes on. But this week, life went on with tragedy. Just because you have cancer doesn't mean that it doesn't rain. Just because you have cancer doesn't mean that you won't lose a child. Just because you have cancer doesn't mean that your parents won't grow old and need your attention. Just because you have cancer doesn't mean that your friends won't kill themselves. Wow. Just because you have cancer doesn't mean that there was a 9/11 memorial, and looking back on the tragedy of that, I mean, I still cry when they say, "Where were you on 9/11?" Those words are just like instant tears, right? If you were old enough to remember that moment, even my kids, they were, like young, but they both remember it like it was yesterday. So there was the grief of that. Yeah, so you know what? How do we live with life and live with cancer? I remember going into the doctor's a while back, and lovely doctor. I mean, he was a nice guy, but he meant well. And he told me the best thing that you could do for yourself is stay out of stress, because cancer feeds on stress. Wow. So how does one stay out of stress? If you still have to live and you still have cancer, right? There are some things you can do. I mean, you can pamper yourself, you can try to build a wall around yourself, but really, when real life hits, that wall's gonna come crumbling down. I mean, this week, no matter what, how big of wall, how much peace I had around me, happy vibes, how much whatever was going on to keep me stress-free. When I heard the news that our friend had taken his own life and left his 2 young kids and his wife, that doesn't, how do you not feel stress and still have cancer? You don't. That's the answer. If you're gonna like lean in really close and say, "What is it, Jody?" Well, guess what? You don't. There are ways you can handle your stress, but you can't avoid it. And you're probably thinking, "Wow, this is a downer of a week." But you know what? Life happens, and I don't want to come in on the camera and say, "Well, I had a really hard time this week, and all I did was smell some essential oils and said a couple prayers, and I feel so good about things now," because you know what? That's not real. That's not for me, right? Okay, so we're going to explore more next week about how we can handle life and cancer and not go crazy. But for this week, this is how I handled it. I dropped to my knees. I could do nothing else. I just was like, I I didn't know what this is what I do. I pray. And I listened to worship songs. I didn't get to go to church because I was dealing with one of those life situations of cancer. So I ended up watching online, and I I got together with my kids. I hugged my babies, um, talked it out with my husband, and that's how I handled this week's tragedies. And still had cancer, still had to fight with the pharmacist, still am dealing with a lot of pain. Tonight I'm taping really late because I was in bed all day because I was in a lot of pain, but I promised everybody that I would have a vlog up every week and I wouldn't, put it off. So here I am, pajama shirt actually. Sorry about that, guys. I think I might have a little bit of makeup still on. I'm not really sure, but I did put lipsticks on for you. So that's it for this week. It was not a big fancy, you know, answer to anything, but that's how I deal with stress. That's how I deal with tragedy, and just the point that you live life, and just because you have cancer does not mean life is not going to happen. But next week we're going to explore some things that we can do, what you can do to make life a little easier when things do happen, or make cancer a little easier when life happens, whichever way you want to look at it. All right? So I'm going to end now, and I'm going to go to bed. I think it's like 3 a.m. or something. I don't even know. So that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. This was Too Cute for Cancer, and my name is Jody. And if you're enjoying the vlogs, or if you just know of anybody going through cancer and would find some benefit, pass me along, or click the subscribe button. And if you like this segment that we're doing right now about how to live life with cancer and survive 20 years, hopefully, ring the bell. All right, signing off, guys. Bye.